I'm trying to educate you. Bitch.
You bitch.
Oh gosh, here we go again. As if Angela screaming at and trying to humiliate Michael isn't enough. She's now set her sights on anyone who dares to defend him. But Kobe isn't gonna take it lying down. And as it turns out, neither is Michael.
We got home and my worst fear came true. We was home 4 days, I believe. 4 days, 3 days. He was gone.
My worst fear came true, she says. Really, Angela? Now, before we dive into that, let's just rewind to the start of the episode. So, now that the studio part of the tell-all is over, it's time for all the cast to go back to the mansion. But if you were hoping that Angela's attitude might have changed, might have, dare I say it, improved now that she's found out from the PI that Michael isn't cheating on her or scamming her, well, you might want to think again. You see, Angela now informs everyone she just wants everything to be over, the tell-all and her marriage.
Yo.
Are you not coming tonight?
Oh, no, I'm you know, it's time for me to have peace. This is too much. I'm done, right?
What do you mean? I mean, I don't get it.
Angela confirms that she and Michael aren't going back to the mansion. Why? Because I don't want to be surrounded by happy couples when my marriage has fallen apart, she says. In fact, she even goes as far as to call herself single.
All the couples are together and here I've been single.
We are not single, no. No.
Michael gently tries to remind her that she's not single. He's done nothing that warrants her saying that. She's trying to make herself look like a victim when there's no reason to. Now, while no one understands what's going on in her mind or why it is that she's saying this, crucially, no one really challenges her about not going back to the mansion. They really don't care that much that she'll be missing. So, while she's hugging everyone saying her goodbyes, Thais asks her,
What's the future for you guys?
Anger management.
Well, I'm going home, and then I'm going to a lawyer. At this point, I made my mind up.
You've got to love that little remark from Jasmine. Anger management. Yeah, she needs it, but I think she also needs psychiatry. The woman's not right in the head. I mean, she says, I'm going home and then I'm going to a lawyer, almost implying that Michael won't be coming with her. It's as if he's done something so bad that she won't even take him home, which is nuts. He hasn't. And she goes on to say,
It's just the facts, guys. I don't need y'all to feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for him because he should have listened.
How deluded can one person be? Honestly, where do I even start with that? Firstly, no, it's not the facts, Angela. And secondly, when you say, I don't need you to feel sorry for me, I don't think anyone does feel sorry for you. He should have listened, she says. But no, Angela, it's you that should listen. The PI cleared Michael's name. And when Rob reminds her of this fact, Angela just dismisses him.
I just want to go home, get a lawyer, get my visa note from him, send him home, and I can't.
Well, I mean, this is too much.
Take him home with you.
Okay, you take him home with you, she says to Kobe, as if Michael's a rescue dog or something. It's just horrific. The way she talks to him and about him is so bad. Like, even the way she talks about the visa, my visa, she calls it, is so telling that Angela sees it as a stamp of ownership over Michael. Now, we've seen Kobe try to bite his tongue for a number of days now. But seeing as today's the last day, he's not prepared to hold back anymore. He tells Angela that he has no sympathy for her. But Angela really doesn't take the criticism too well.
Kobe, why are you being a male chauvinist? All day you've been a male chauvinist pig. Suck my get the out of here, dude.
Yeah, Angela is now amped up. She's now taking aim at literally the nicest guy there. Like, Kobe went out of his way, up until today at least, he went out of his way to try and be nice towards Angela. But enough's enough. You see, even as Angela walks out of the room and removes herself from the situation, Kobe can't hide just how annoyed he is at the news that she plans to take away Michael's visa.
Michael is nothing. Somebody you can just bring to the United States and take him back home as you want.
I don't know, I feel so bad for him.
As Kobe is arguing his case, talking to anyone who'll listen to him, we start hearing sobs, and it soon becomes apparent that Jasmine is full on crying. She's clearly also been triggered by Angela. The way Angela has just been talking about taking back her visa as if she somehow owns it is clearly a little too close to home for Jasmine. And when Ashley goes over to Angela and tells her that Jasmine is now bawling her eyes out, Jasmine, the lady that Angela considers a friend, Angela's response just proves how little she cares about anyone other than herself.
I don't care.
You don't care?
No, I don't. Right now I care about my mental state because I have real problems and I'm going through a divorce. Just want my visa.
You are not getting divorced, Angie.
Angela's new target is now Ashley. She raises her voice at Ashley and says, "I'm not gonna wait around until I'm 70 to realise that Michael doesn't love me." And what's more, she also says that she's sick of Kobe's input. He needs to stay out of my marriage, she says. And she even has the audacity to say, "I don't want him to..."
Keep bringing that dominant to our country.
Honestly, what the fuck is she talking about? Bringing his dominant shit to our country? She's the one with the domineering attitude. And also, by the way, Angela, it's not just yours and Ashley's country. It's Kobe's country now too. And as she goes on yet another rampage against Michael, yelling at him, accusing him of being a liar, it's Kobe who walks in to see what all this commotion is.
Do you have a lying problem?
I know I lie,
No,
but
yes,
yes, I
yes
do.
or no?
Yes, I do, but not at every little thing.
There's no but.
Okay?
Everything.
Angela turns to Kobe and screams at him, "You don't see what I see that goes on in my marriage." Now, Kobe tries to answer back, but Angela's just not prepared to let him speak. She keeps screaming over him. She keeps getting angrier and angrier that anyone would dare to defend Michael, the man who, you know, hasn't actually done anything wrong.
I am not
He's a
defending
kid
it.
guy.
I am just talking
But
based on what I am
hold on a
saying.
minute. You just made me have to go take because you're as full of as he is.
Oh my goodness.
Kobe's absolutely shocked into silence, as I think we all are. Where on earth does Angela come up with these sayings? Like, just look at poor Michael. He's stood there, clearly petrified, sweating bullets as he watches his marriage fall apart. He's stood there hearing his wife brutally say that even though he's done nothing wrong, she's gonna seek an annulment, tear up their marriage and send him packing on the next plane home. And perhaps seeing this, seeing his friend in such a predicament, Kobe can't help but try and give the man some advice, and that only angers Angela even more.
Michael, your wife kept saying, "Give me my visa." That's your personal document. That's something I want you to
You
understand.
can tell him to shut his
I am not shutting my mouth.
Kobe.
Honestly, well done, Kobe, well done. Throughout this entire tell-all, he's the only one who's really stood up to Angela. He's saying what no one else has dared to say. Everyone's been tiptoeing around Angela. They're all scared to prod the bear. But enough's enough. Kobe's not backing down. He's prepared to go head to head with Angela. He's taken it upon himself to try and defend Michael, who's clearly not in a position to defend himself.
I'm trying to educate you, bitch.
You bitch.
Now, after some more abuse aimed at Kobe, after calling him a f***ing bitch and a mother, and all kinds of other names under the sun, Angela reminds Michael that she's not scared of anyone, before she then proceeds to storm out of the studio for, I think, the third or fourth time. I've lost count. But the thing is, all of her name calling hasn't affected Kobe at all. He sees her for who she truly is.
She's always treated this man as some trash, try to isolate him from others. I think she's such an ass.
Now, with everything said and done, the real issue here is what's going to happen to Michael. Keep in mind, right, what Angela's seeking, what she says she wants, is an annulment of their marriage. She claims she's been conned into this marriage. It was all a gigantic ploy by Michael to get a green card. And that being the case, her seeking an annulment is very strategic. She's after an annulment, not a divorce. An annulment would mean their marriage never actually existed, which, of course, in turn would leave Michael's current visa in jeopardy. But of course, we know that Michael has fought really damn hard for 7 years to be in the States.
From the bottom of my heart, I really don't want to go back to Nigeria. A lot's going on in my marriage and I just need to figure out how to resolve it.
Now, here's where things take a slight detour, right? After 5 episodes, the tell-all has now wrapped up, but it's at this point that producers give us some behind-the-scenes footage. Stuff that happened during the course of filming. So it's out of sequence. Like, this is all stuff that happened days ago, before what we've just seen. And one of those things involves Michael's wedding ring. Angela reveals that even after she found out what the PI had to say, that same evening, she demanded that Michael give her back her wedding ring, she says.
And he's so materialistic, like his my ring. No, it's called a wedding ring. You ain't really married. You're married to the United States of America, and let them buy you the ring.
Only Angela could demand Michael's wedding ring back and then try and twist it to blame him. He's so materialistic, she says. And get this, she goes on to reveal with absolutely no remorse at all that in the space of one night, she supposedly lost his wedding ring. And now she's claiming it's a sign from God.
I made him give it back, and I don't know, it fell off my hand somewhere.
You've lost the wedding ring?
Yeah, I did. That's a sign to me. It's like, see, God, I told God to give me a sign, and I think the wedding ring was a symbol.
Crazy, isn't it? She's so happy to blame Michael for supposedly being materialistic, but look at how expertly she dodges any accountability or blame at all for supposedly, and I don't believe her, but for supposedly losing his wedding ring. And it turns out that after all this humiliation, Michael finally reached his breaking point. You see, the next bonus behind the scenes footage we're shown is of Angela alone back at home. This one is from after the tell-all finished.
We got home and my worst fear came true. We was home 4 days, I believe. 4 days, 3 days, he was gone.
Is that any surprise? Can you just imagine how bad his life must have been when they got back? Like, if that's how she acted with the world watching, with cameras in her face, I shudder to think how bad it must have been for him behind closed doors. Now, what really irritates me about Angela's video is her saying Michael leaving is her worst fear. She's almost implying that this somehow proves that he lived up to her worst expectations. He's as bad as she feared he was. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Like, after everything that we've seen, what did she think would happen? Everyone has a breaking point, and clearly Michael has now been pushed to his. And thankfully, we also get to hear his version of events.
She got angry, she started giving me attitude and saying all sorts of things to me. So it got to a point you just had to leave.
Michael explains that he waited until Angela was out doing errands and then he took his opportunity. He quickly packed his clothes into a backpack, he grabbed his essential documents, as he puts it, and then he left without looking back. I imagine it must have been a Forrest Gump run, Forrest run moment. And hearing what he had to do to get away makes you realise just how scary this moment must have been for him.
I worked for about 5 hours, but I was so tired. My leg was as if it almost fell off me.
Out in the wilderness with nowhere to go, no cell phone, no means of contacting anyone, Michael just walked and walked. He walked for hours and hours until eventually he came across a man and begged him to use his phone. Now, he says this enabled him to reach out to some friends, who in turn guided him to a bus station and arranged an 18-hour trip to get him away, to get him, by the sounds of things, to the other side of the country. He's now living with his friend in a secret location, and he just wants to put all of this sordid mess behind him.
I want to move on with my life. Enough is enough. I mean, no one deserves to be treated this way.
Michael's right. Look, the truth is, no matter what his intentions were when he met Angela, no matter what happened over their 7 years together, the abuse that Michael has had to endure, that we've seen, let alone what we haven't seen, has been absolutely terrifying. Sorry, but no one deserves to be treated that way. But, as it turns out, the last word is left to Angela. She still has one final threat.
I'll see you soon. Either getting on a plane or in a courtroom. See you soon.
Even from the way that she says that, it's clear she's going to be as vindictive as possible. Angela feels scorned. She feels disrespected. She can't handle the fact that he's the one that walked out on her. And now, as we're starting to see, this is turning very, very messy. You see, in the last few days, it's been revealed that Angela has made good on her threat to file for an annulment rather than a divorce. That means Michael's visa really is at risk. So if, like me, you'd like to support him, if you'd like to help him raise money for his legal defence, I'll leave a link to his crowdfunding campaign down in the description below. If you can donate, every dollar helps. Michael's real fight starts now.